Alright, hello everyone. Today we are going to be talking about the guidelines in order to make a good debuffer. I have some sample builds at the end, so if you want to, you can just go and skip there and see the sample builds, or you can just go to my Canva sheet. My Canva sheet has every single build that I'm currently using for my final Taurus Cup horses. You can just go and copy paste from there, no problem. And basically I'll be talking about how to make it, what we are looking for, what are the decisions as I'm going through the run. The run will be at 2.5 times speed, so if it's really too fast, don't worry about it. You can just pause every now and then, right? So anyway, let's begin with the rules. We are going to be focusing on bonds for the first summer. We need to make sure we have a lot of rainbows on the summer so we can get a lot of stat lines, right? We want to also take risk if we see big value. We are hunting down for anything that gives us big bonds, anything that gives us big rainbow energy, right? If we need to squeeze in a few clicks here and there, we will try to squeeze in a few clicks here and there in order to get some value out of it, all right? So that's what I mean by taking the big risk. We are basically aiming for a high roll of a horse, right? If we fail, then that horse maybe wasn't meant to succeed. Then we just go to the next horse and then the next horse until you find a horse that has a very acceptable amount of RNG for you, then you can go and keep that horse, right? So that's what I mean by high rolling here. We are going to be resting below 50 energy or clicking wits. The reason I rest so much below 50 energy is because I'm always hunting down for big rainbows or big hints that I need to click. Like maybe this turn is a bit mediocre, then I can just rest, save that energy for a future click, and so on and so forth. Or we can actually do the wit strat, which is basically we wait for a wit's rainbow and then we just click that one to heal ourselves, because it's like the Seriru strategy, right? We just keep clicking wits and then we can just keep recovering our energy. That's another way to actually just kind of keep clicking in this game. We are looking to click as much as possible, but we are looking to click very big value stuff, and sometimes greeding for it is better for high rolling. So that's why I like to sometimes pass a turn, because I'm looking for a bigger rainbow, right? We also want to hunt down hits, but we also need to balance the stats. We don't want to get too many debuffs and very shit stats. We don't want to get too much stats and very little debuffs, right? So there's a balance that you have to find here. It's going to rely on the RNG and where your horse is at that point in the game. Like if you see your power is suddenly super high for some reason because you kept clicking the power rainbows, for example, then you can just focus on wits for the rest of the game, or you can just focus on skills, because maybe you click the power too much, then not enough skills, right? There's a lot of different factors, so I can't tell you every single scenario, but I can give you the guidelines here, right? There's also going to be another guideline here, which is the hint pruning, right? If you have spare skill points, right, what you can actually do is you can go and buy the skill. So if, for example, if you're on Rice Shower and you get Maverick, you can actually buy 1 point in Maverick, 1 circle in Maverick, and that will actually cancel Maverick from the possible hints from Rice Shower. So you can improve the odds of you hitting the flustered or subdued Pace Chaser from Rice Shower. So hint pruning is very important for people who can spare the skill points, right? If you're running AoE, you generally will have enough. If you're racing a lot, you also generally will have enough. Racing gives you a lot of skill points, right? So depending on your strategy, depending on what you want to do, you can go and add or do this kind of hint pruning stuff. I personally do not do it. What I do is I just keep re-rolling until I hit the debuffs that I really want. And if I get a really lucky run, then I just keep that run, right? I already made 2 good horses like that. So I'm just going to be using my current strategy because I'm very comfortable with it. Okay. So now we're going to move on to the actual parentage here. Parents, basically they are debuffer parents. All you need to do is hunt for them. Just look for skills like Flustered Pace, Hesitant Pace, Tether, any of these debuffs. Just go and get them as your grandparent or parent if possible. So here I'm renting an Oguri who has a grandparent of Grass Wonder who has Flustered Pace, Hesitant Pace, as well as Tether. So with that, I should be able to get myself a decent chance to hit some of those, and if I hit some of those, it means that my RNG is a lot less. So the better the parent, the easier the RNG will be for you when you're re-rolling for a good, nice nature over here, right? Moving on, we also have the deck. The deck is very simple to understand. We're just going for a Wits Power strat as well as 1 Rice Shower tag along. Rice Shower gives you Flustered and Subdued Pace Chaser, so you ideally want to get those. Symbolic Rudolph gives you 1 million debuffs. Just go and bring that card. You don't have to get an SSR or anything like that for Symboli. And then for the other cards over here, basically we are using something like Marvelous Sunday for the intelligence gains. For Agnes, she gives you SP gains when you have max limit break, so I use that. And then for Fine Motion, she's a level 50 card, so I just borrow that one, right? Because I need additional wits in order to very safely hit my 1200 wits requirement. If you can hit it normally, then feel free to cut out the Fine Motion, get another debuffer card also can. But for me, I need it, so I'm going to use it because I'm comfortable with that. All right. Then we also have Hishi Amazon. Hishi Amazon is just a stamina plus power card, as well as has an event that gives you hesitant and closes. So it's a viable option for debuffing, and I need a bit of power in this deck as well as some stamina gains, so I'm using Hishi because she has a stamina bonus on top of that. So really quite a decent card. Although her hints are quite useless, so don't need to actually hunt down her hints at all. Same as Fine Motion. For hints, we're only looking for Symboli, Rice Shower, Marvelous, as well as Agnes in terms of just hunting down the hints. Okay, so now we're actually going to go into the run over here. Take note that everything is going to be at 2.5 times speed, so if you do need to see something that I'm doing, feel free to go and pause. Generally, I'll just be showcasing all of the different skills over here, and we will not be buying a single one of them. We are hunting only for debuffs. Yes, we can buy some of them if we're pruning, but I have not enough skill points from my own experience and from my own deck runs, right? I just cannot afford it. Over here, we have Hishi Amazon. I already said before, we do not need these hints at all, so we skip her. We do not need to go and kick the exclamation marks for horses that we do not need, unless we're looking for maybe a big bond, right? If it's a lot of bond, then maybe we'll just click that, so we'll be able to get additional bond with them. But that situation there was another option for me, which is a lot better, right? I do not need to click anything else, like maybe I don't need to click Rice Shower and Symboli for their bonds, but I do need to click them for their hints. That's because their rainbows are not very valuable compared to the other rainbows that I'm looking for. I'm looking for Agnes rainbows, looking for Marvelous rainbows, looking for Fine Motion rainbows. Rice Shower and Symboli, they don't give enough stats, so I don't really care about them. I also need to hunt down for Hishi. So these are my 4 important bond characters, and the only time I click the other 2, Symboli and Rice Shower, is purely because I want to get the hints. Over here, we get a very nice big bond over here. So when I saw that, I was like, ooh, this run is popping off a little bit. Here I take the risk because I really need to hit those hints. Unfortunately, I get rewarded with a Pace Chaser Savvy, not really the hit that I'm actually going to be hunting down for, which really sucks for me, right? For event chains, we hunt down debuffs, we hunt down stats, we hunt down stuff that is not wit, right? We don't mind a bit of wit, but we really don't need wit because this deck is 4 wits already, and Nice Nature comes with a massive amount of wits bonus, which means that we'll be able to easily max her out with this kind of deck. So basically, all I need to do is just get the rest of her stats to be good. So I'm prioritizing those stats instead. So if I see speed, I'll take the speed. If I see stamina, I'll take the stamina. If I see power, I'll take the power. But I will I'll always prioritize skill points because I really need a lot of skill points to buy every single debuff in the game. And if I see an opportunity, I might actually abandon a rainbow in order to go and race a G1 because G1s give you a lot of skill points, right? So you always want to go and find opportunities if you need a lot of skill points to go and race, right? Try to find opportunities to race because racing is very good for skill points and is very good for a debuffer focused deck, right? Here we're just going to keep hunting down debuffs, and as you can see, I'm getting really unlucky after that initial amount of good stuff over here. Here you must make sure you remember which hints you're looking for. So I can get the Rice Shower one, I can get the Marvelous one. I take the Marvelous one because I can get Agnes Bond as well, right? Have to balance. You have to get some hints, have to get some rainbows, but you have to make sure you have an equal amount of both. Otherwise, you're just going to have a horse that does one thing really good, but the other part is really bad. Here, I try to snipe again, and I get these subdued front runners. Unfortunately, I hit that one beforehand and did not buy it because I didn't have enough skill points at the time. So I forgot to check whether I could buy it beforehand, right? I think if I actually bought that and then rolled the Symbolic hint pool, I might have gotten one extra debuff. So that was one of my regrets for this run. Really unfortunate for me because I clicked super fast here, right? And then if you see only one rainbow, it's not really that worth it because I have 4 wits cards, which means that really I don't care about one wits rainbow. What I do care about though is power rainbows, because power rainbows I only have 1 power card, so 1 power rainbow is actually more valuable than a bunch of wits rainbows. So it's just dependent on what stat lines I need, right? At the early stages, I'm just trying my best to fill up my power a little bit because I know I can easily max my wit, but ultimately I do have to click on some of these wit rainbows because they are really powerful, right? As long as I see Agnes on it, I'm basically getting about 12 to 13 skill points, I think, from the click on the wits. So I really need to farm that. Otherwise, I won't have enough to buy every single debuff that I'm looking for over here. Right, so anyway, basically that's all we'll be doing here. Just clicking, looking for debuffs here, trying to prune as much as I can, because the debuffs themselves are also pruning, by the way. Because Symbolic Rudolph has about, I think, 4 of the subdueds, so that means that if you buy one of the subdueds, then the odds of you getting the other subdueds is going to increase. So that's why we're always hunting down for this. Ultimately, my inheritances are quite shit here. I don't get any important skills from any of my inheritance. I double checked. I believe I have double circle here, but I just got really unlucky. So yeah, this just kind of sucks. So I mean, this is just the nice nature experience, really. You're just hunting down a bunch of debuffs, trying to make your horse as good as possible, look for good rainbows, hunt down your Agnes Tachyon, or whoever you're using to give you skill point bonuses, like your Sweet Tosho, or your Agnes, or even Mayano, if you're actually using Mayano. Take note for my inheritances, I am inheriting speed and stamina. The reason why I do that is because I would like to be able to do G1 races. Because if you don't inherit the speed or the stamina with this kind of deck, you actually will not be able to do any G1s. And that means that you can cut down your SP gains quite a bit. I don't race a lot, but I do want to have enough stats so that I'll be able to survive in the Champions Meet, and also so that I can race my G1s, right? So in the summer, we basically are hunting down for power rainbows here. Look at how high our wits is compared to our power. That's how much wits rainbows you're going to get with this kind of deck. So I'm praying for more spawns of the power rainbow. Yes, I know I only have one card, but I can still pray for a really, really good option here. Basically aiming for a high roll. That's how I'm training my nice nature over here, right? Take power whenever I can. Triple rainbow, I'm not even impressed by triple rainbow because I run 4 wits cards already, so I know that it will eventually happen. What I'm hunting for is power rainbows, because otherwise I will not have enough stat lines to survive. So I just clicking the power here. It's always power as much as I can from now on, because we're entering classic year, the end of classic year, and that means that if I do not get a certain amount of power, this run can only go bad, right? Nice Nature is not really meant to win longs with this kind of setup because she doesn't have enough stamina. I didn't click a lot of stamina buttons in the early game, so it's a bit trickier. You can buy debuffs actually for those races if it's long races, because your stamina debuffs actually hurt the AI a lot in terms of being able to complete the long races. So that will actually help you to win the long races by making everyone else lose, you know? You can actually win it by doing that as well in this game. So I'm trying to buy some of these to maximize my chances of winning the G1s, because I'm running her in late. She still gets blocked sometimes, so be it, but at least the debuffs help me to sometimes win the races over here. I also never ever click Rice Shower, because my Rice Shower is a level 5 card, purely here as a skill stick. I only click it for skills. And then what happens if you want to maybe race 3 times in a row? Because just now there you saw I was tempted to click on the Tokyo, the Japan Cup over there, but I decided not to. That's because I straight up just did not want to get mood down. And I also had a decent enough rainbow that I was willing to click that instead of going for the race. That one's a misclick, by the way. I should have clicked the skill point one. Don't click the 5 stat option. Click the skill point one, because you need a lot of skill points for this kind of build. Here I'm max energy, wits deck, nothing you can do about it, you know. You're always going to be very high energy because you're always clicking that wits button. So, yep. Valentine's Day, we don't care. Actually, it's good to fail Valentine's Day because you can get skill points on it instead of leveling up your unique, which doesn't really help you at all. So that's something funny that you could be looking for, although you don't really have to. Basically, I'm just clicking a shit ton of rainbows here just to get more stats, hunting down hints, checking the races also. Sometimes, if I don't want to get that hint, then I'll actually skip it and go for a race instead. Right, but here definitely whenever I see the power, I'll get very tempted also. But here I try to get more debuffs, but I hit tail held high, and that is a good skill. It's a good skill, but it's only for people that want to win. My horse doesn't want to win. It makes people lose. So I don't want to get ramp up. I don't want to get home stretch haste. I don't want to get playtimes over. These are all very good skills, but I don't want them on my nice nature. I want the debuffs, and that's what I'm trying to get. And I keep getting up tempo, home stretch, ramp up. Why can't this be on my ace run? That's my literally one complaint right now. Why can't that be on my ace run, right? Anyway, whatever the case is, this is pretty much going to be a very, very bad run already. The moment I see senior year early June and I have only like 4 or 5 debuffs, I know it's over already. So at this point, you could actually quit the whole run already, right? I could actually abandon this run because I just don't have the debuffs that I'm looking for. So I can just re-roll and just go back and do another nice nature and repeat until I eventually get all of the hints that I'm looking for here, right? For this summer, I just kind of gave up already because once I saw the number of debuffs I had, I knew it was kind of over, but I still wanted to, you know, fully finish the run anyway because might as well, you know. I'm already near the end, so it's just a few more clicks. So just keep going towards it. Here, I just buy out all of the other debuffs I have already because really there's nothing else, and then I just race because there was no other rainbows to click. So I just go and race, get some skill points, why not, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much the rest of the run really. It's just going to be straight to Ura finals. I actually click wits so much, right, that I have so much speed and my debuffs were still really strong for any of the Ura races that I just win, by the way. Yeah, so I just won that one super easily. Normally, my debuffer run, sometimes I don't even win because I don't have enough stat lines. But in this case, I clicked wit so much, my speed was actually insane. So I was able to actually beat Ura finals. If you have 600 or higher speed in general, you should be able to clear Ura. You just need to reroll maybe a few times depending on the RNG and depending on whether your skills proc. But here, my stat lines are just absolutely incredible. It's just my debuffs are horrendous. So yeah, this horse is definitely not going to be my Taurus Cup horse for sure, right? Yeah, I mean the last few parts here is just Arima Kinen into the Ura finals. Nothing much is going to happen over here. Really sad. I was hunting down for the power rainbows, but I didn't get a single power rainbow. In the end game, I was like, where's the power rainbows? I need like 3 more, at least 3 more, and I could have stabilized that run to make it kind of okay. And anyway, skills also really shit. At this point, I just decided to buy it because there's nothing else we're gonna hit. I try to go for this one and I get Highlander. Nice. So nice. Anyway, whatever. This is just part of the game, you know. You just like skip, click. Did I hit the debuff? Did I hit the debuff? So this is the stuff I do off screen. I don't really like to showcase these ones over here. But if you are interested, do let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll make a stream about it. But yeah, I mean, this is basically what I do in the background, just farming for my OP horses. Right. I never really do this on the stream because I find it to be very boring for the viewer, I think. Right. So anyway, here I got first place, and that's a rarity for me, honestly. I don't usually get the first place, and here I didn't even hit the Hishi Amazon event, so I don't get hesitant end closers. Right, you can see all of these skills, horrendous. It's horrendous. I want like 8 or 9 skills at least before I consider keeping that horse. That's my standard. So since there's nothing else to do, I just buy the greens, because if I buy all of these skills that are decent enough to be passed down to children, I can maybe get a good spark here. So that's what you can also do in case your debuffer fails. So in this case, I would consider this debuffer a failure. We get okay sparks here, so I can use her as a grandparent in the future, and she does have ramp up, tail held high, so she's actually a not bad parent option if I want to in the future. Grandparent option, not parent option. I don't want Nice Nature unique, right? So I just put her in the grandparent slot, use her as like a stat line for the parents in the future. Over here, I'm going to show you some of my examples here. This is one of the Nice Natures that I'm going to 100% be using. I'm not going to make any better one than this. This one is a really good high roll horse. A lot of speed over there, maximum width, and every single debuff that you could possibly ask for in this stage over here, right? Very good stat lines, very good debuffs. The next one is also pretty damn good. It even has medium S, but I don't need this horse to win. I just need it to survive. So because of the difference in the debuffs here, the left horse is generally going to be a lot better than the right horse because they both are able to survive under the middle leg already. Okay. Firm conditions, I didn't buy for pruning. It just happened to drop into my character skill from inheritance, so I just buy it. Why not? Right. For other options for debuffing cards, you can use Air Groove. You can use Aoi also if you need more skill points. Be flexible with your decks. You don't have to lock in into any of the decks that I am using. It's just that these are all options that you can use depending on the level and uptime of your own cards. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say over here. Like my deck is really strong, but maybe your deck's not as strong, then just use budget options instead, right? Okay, anyway, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you guys next time. Bye bye.